I'm Andrea Giles, and you're listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, episode number 96, Validation Dependency. Hello, and welcome to the Heal from Infidelity podcast, where courageous women learn not only to heal from their spouse's betrayal, but to become the boldest, truest, most decisive, and confident versions of themselves ever. If you know there's more for you than the life you're currently living, but don't quite know how to get there, you are in the right place. Stick around to learn how to create a life that will knock your own socks off. Is it possible? It is, and I'm here to show you how. I'm your host, Andrea Giles. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I am once again recording this episode from a hotel room. I have been traveling a lot lately, just running kids to various things. This time I'm dropping a kid off at a camp in Idaho. So I'm recording it in a hotel in Idaho. Anyway, I'm really happy to be here. Right now, I am wrapping up my launch for my NOAA 90 group. We start soon. We start at the time that this episode comes out. We will be starting it in the next week. And then a week after that, school starts already. Unbelievable how fast summer goes. Anyway, today I am going to be talking all about validation dependency. I'm going to be sharing examples from the view of the person who was betrayed by their spouse and the person who did the betraying. My hope is that this is one that you may feel comfortable sharing with your partner if this applies to you. I think there will be something in here for both of you. Okay, so understanding if and how you are dependent on validation is really important. The more you understand it, the more you can grow in your capacity to not need it. So for the first part of the episode, I'm going to talk about what validation actually is. I know most of you know what validation is, but I'm going to go deeper into it. I want you to just notice as I describe it, what comes up for you. What do you feel in yourself that feels familiar as I share these things? We're not judging, we're just noticing, okay? And then we'll be talking about how this shows up in your partners as well. And of course, I will tell you how to grow out of this validation dependency so you're no longer dependent on it, but just enjoy it because it feels good. Okay? All right, here we go. Validation is something humans naturally crave. We are social beings and we look for social cues that we're doing okay. We want to feel attractive, smart, wanted, justified, right, desired, normal. Okay? It feels good. For many people, it is something that is enjoyed, but not necessarily needed to function day to day. We all want validation for the wrong reason sometimes too, okay? This is totally normal. Sometimes we want validation because we are having a day where we're feeling bad about ourselves or where we're judging ourselves for something, and we want somebody else to tell us that we're okay. That is normal. It's very normal if it doesn't get to this dependency stage, which we're going to be talking about today, okay? Now, self-validation is the ability to recognize and acknowledge your own internal experience, and that is what we're going for. Validation dependency is a different beast than just seeking validation, and it can become quite destructive. This form of dependency, this kind of dependency, is born from having very little sense of self or sense of who you are, your inherent worth and lovability. You generally have a very low ability to self-validate in this space. It is born out of never learning how to love and approve of yourself, so you make others responsible for your feelings. Self-dependency is a form of self-abandonment. It is saying to yourself that others' opinions matter more than your own. When this goes unaddressed, it can continue to feed low self-esteem and make you turn to others to let you know if you are okay. It's very exhausting. It acts like a drug. With a constant flow of validity, life feels manageable. But if it dries up, much like a drug addict, a validation dependent goes searching for it, sometimes quite desperately. One place we see this all the time is in social media. You see accounts that are much less about sincerely sharing their lives with others and much more about how many likes, follows, and accolades they can get. These accounts are very self-serving, and you can feel the difference between these and accounts where life is just shared. People spend a lot of time crafting the perfect social media page to bring in likes and shares, but often it is much less about being honest and letting people know about you and more about getting people to like and validate you. This kind of mentality breeds validation dependency. Okay, so how does this show up in infidelity? When people are new in relationships, this is often what it looks like. You validate me and I'll validate you. I will hold up a mirror to you that shows you all the wonderful, amazing things about you, and I will not see or show you anything that is less than that. I agree to do that for you if you will do it for me. Then people move forward in relationships and often get married. This work of constantly needing to validate becomes exhausting and insincere. Why? Because we basically are using this person to tell us we're okay in the world, to make us feel a certain way. And when the other person stops doing that as regularly, it can feel threatening to your own sense of self. Also, if we have to continue to do this for somebody else and it starts to feel insincere ourselves when we're starting to see the person that we're actually married to and not just the things we want to see, it can become exhausting to try to pretend like we don't see anything else but this wonderful, perfect version of the person that we are with, right? In a healthy relationship, each person starts developing their own sense of self, or they started developing that as children. They hold their own mirror up and see who they are and what it might be for them, or what it might be like for your partner to be married to you. This is the work in long-time relationships. Now, for people who do this work at home, in their childhood home, they may have had parents who helped them to see themselves, to help them lovingly see their strengths, their weaknesses, and look at it with a compassionate lens, really for growth rather than criticism. But for many of us, this is not the case. And they've been taught instead they are okay only as long as mom and dad are happy. Many of us were not only not validated in our childhood home, but many of us were devalued, told in subtle and not so subtle ways that our thoughts, feelings, and actions are wrong. So we carry that into adulthood and have a feeling of being inherently wrong. So people get married or involved in long-term relationships and look to their partner to validate them and tell them what they want to hear rather than telling them what it's really like to be married to them, both good and not so good. Infidelity, in many cases, is born from validation seeking. Let's paint a scenario. There's a married couple who have 3 small children along with jobs. They're both doing their best to be productive, raise the children well, etc., but the wife is exhausted. She is really tired of some of the sloppy ways of her husband, his lack of help with the kids. It feels like too much of a stretch to constantly be feeding her husband false validation. She is tired and knows she's not being honest. So he starts resenting her, thinking she has changed, thinking she's too busy for him, too tired, doesn't care, etc. While those things may be true, in reality, what is really happening is she is dropping the charade. She can no longer hold that mirror up to him and tell him how wonderful he is. Because in many ways, he is not being wonderful. He is doing the bare minimum and taking care of himself at others' expense. Now back to him. He is feeling more and more unhappy at home. And rather than internalizing this unhappiness and trying to understand himself and what really might be going on, he feels like he is a victim. Even if he is not openly looking for it, he wants someone, anyone, to tell him he is okay. He is either afraid, unwilling, or just plain doesn't know how to start validating himself, so he becomes an easy target. Others can often sniff this out, and very often, 2 people with the same way of thinking find each other. They are both looking for someone to validate them, even if it's false. It is not deeply satisfying because it's not based on truth. But in the moment, it feels that need to be validated, and then they feel okay in the world again. And then they need more and more of it. It is not sustainable. So they go seeking it more, either with the affair partner or someone else. And in the meantime, they are often vilifying their spouse for being mean or harsh or whatever. In reality, though, she's doing the best she can, trying as hard as she can, and just wants something more honest. She doesn't want to play the games anymore. She's ready to grow herself and the marriage into something richer and truer, But unbeknownst to her, he is adding some destruction to the marriage. Okay, now on to the one who is cheated on. Validation dependence can show up here too. I work with a lot of women, and infidelity lands differently for different people. Let me explain. For my clients who come to me who have grown up in homes where they have been validated, where they have been heard, where they have felt like their thoughts and their feelings matter, their opinions matter, infidelity does not crush them. It is hard and it hurts, and they don't love it. And it's a harsh reality for them. But they don't go as deeply down the route of feeling like they aren't good enough, like they just must be a terrible person or an awful wife or whatever. They take it a little bit harder because it's such an unvalidating move to step out of your marriage. That the person who is stepping out is unvalidating their partner by sending a message of there's something over here that I want that I'm not getting here, or that I want more of. And it's an unvalidating move. So if you already have a pretty good sense of who you are, know how to validate yourself, at least in part, that unvalidation or invalidation by your spouse is not going to hit quite as hard as someone who hasn't learned that skill yet, who doesn't quite know how to validate themselves. For that person, it can be completely shattering, completely gutting. And I talk to all kinds of women, and I would say, honestly, that more times than not, it is the latter that is the most common, where it feels very shattering. Why? Because many of us just have not learned how to validate ourselves. Many of us were either invalidated in our homes growing up or by our spouses enough times that we have stopped trusting ourselves, stopped trusting our own voices. And so this feels like the biggest invalidation, telling us that the way we think, the way we feel, the way we are is not good enough. And this is where there's some work to do. Okay. For many of us, we're still looking at our partner to hold up that mirror to show us only the good things. So when they find out about the infidelity, they know that what they're really being reflected was either a lie or partially a lie. They may have told you so they're so happy, how great you are, but leaving out giant pieces. So for this person, her world gets turned upside down. Where does she get her validation now? Many women at this stage go outside the marriage and talk to lots of people about their situation, looking for validation that they're still okay. For some, they're so ashamed because they're making it mean that they really aren't worth loving, so they close down and don't tell a soul. If they decide to work on the marriage, this is the person that is needing constant reassurance that her spouse still loves her, still wants her, and will keep holding that mirror up for her. This space is unhealthy, though, because she is not telling herself that she is lovable, wanted, and worth being good to. She is handing all the power over to him. She's still in that dependent role. Okay, so what to do about this? For many people, infidelity is the crack in the foundation that wakes both of the people up to each other and to themselves. It's a huge wake-up call. They can no longer pretend like their spouse isn't who they think they are, both the good and less than stellar qualities. It is an opportunity to see how we have participated in this game and make some changes. So I'm going to share 3 things with you that can really help to develop your own ability to self-validate. Number 1, look at the things you do each day, particularly involving other people. If you feel inclined to post something or tell someone something, ask yourself this question: what is it I am seeking? Be honest with yourself. What are you wanting in return? What are you trying to get by posting something, by telling somebody something? Just pause and ask yourself that question. What are you wanting in return? Do you like the answer? Be honest to yourself. If the answer is that you are wanting them to tell you you're okay and right and not challenge you at all, you're probably seeking their validation. Slow yourself down at this space and just allow the discomfort of not getting that shot in the arm of validation. Practice sitting with yourself. It will be hard and uncomfortable at first, but you will really like who you are becoming as you learn this skill. It is a skill. You're developing a skill, okay? It will grow your awareness of how much you depend on others for validation. Number 2, when faced with a decision, ask yourself the answer before you ask others. It also will feel uncomfortable. You'll have a strong urge to go ask somebody else, but you will build trust with yourself and see the value of your own mind and your own thoughts when you develop this. Normal, healthy behavior does involve enlisting others' opinions for sure, okay? But put yourself first, as your opinion truly matters most. You can ask, what do I think? If that feels inaccessible, try one of these questions. If I knew the answer, what would it be? Or if a friend were asking me, you can even have somebody in mind here, what advice would I give? If so-and-so came to me and said, hey, I need to ask you this question, what advice would I give them? Listen to yourself, try on some answers, and then live from those answers. This will allow you to get to know yourself better, your likes and dislikes, knowing your own mind. Number 3, put a pause on social media. When working through infidelity, it's so easy to go online and see other seemingly perfect couples and compare and despair. This is very invalidating. It will feed your sense of not being good enough or not as pretty or smart or whatever it is. Okay, give yourself a break, take a break, push pause, and just be with yourself. Slowing down and being with yourself more often will help you heal. You'll be able to get to know yourself, see who you are being in the world, and strive to show up as the best and healthiest version of yourself. The goal here, my friends, is not to never ask for validation, to never seek it. It's all about balance. Okay, the name of this episode is Validation Dependence. Okay, we all seek validation. We're talking about when we can't function without it. It's a dependence. Okay, it will always feel good. It will always feel good. But the more you develop your ability to validate yourself, to self-validate, when other people do things that feel invalidating, it won't knock you over so hard. And you'll be able to stand stronger in your marriage and not need as much from your spouse. And you can have a much more honest relationship where you can really be honest with each other about what you see and what it's like to be married to each other, and hold mirrors up to each other that are truthful, that are the honest to goodness truth of who you are married to and who you are, right? Okay, to wrap this up, validation feels good and soothing. It's okay. But it becomes a matter of liking it or even wanting it rather than needing it to feel okay in the world. That's what we're going for. That's what we're trying to work through here, okay? Like I said at the beginning, this may be a good episode to share with your spouse. If you see things that feel familiar within yourself, within your spouse, my guess is that many of you have spouses who are validation dependent, who don't know how to validate themselves. And so when you are not feeding it to them, they go find it elsewhere. And their skill to develop is learning how to validate themselves. Okay. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you so much. And I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Heal from Infidelity podcast. If you would like to be kept in the know about upcoming free classes, new podcast episodes, and other ways of working with me, go subscribe to my weekly email. You can subscribe at AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. Again, it's AndreaGiles.com/lies-about-infidelity/. I will see you next time.